That's right. 5 questions, and some of them pertaining to sports, some of them pertaining to Halloween, but here we go. So Tom Brady is the Cowardly Lion this year, and Giselle is Dorothy. Have you ever been a part of a group or couple's costume for Halloween? Which would you be most proud of, and which would you be most embarrassed about?
I was a part of Toy Story, and I was a part of the Smurf. In Toy Story, I was Woody.
Okay.
And in Smurf, I was one of the Smurfs. I don't know if they have names.
How old were you when you were Woody?
I was in college.
Oh, see, I honestly...
Not Buzz? Not Buzz Lightyear?
I respect the decision to go with Woody from Toy Story.
I'd go Woody, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's the hero
Buzz
to
Lightyear.
me.
Yeah, I'd go Woody over to a Smurf any day. So I'm
Yeah, that's true. Woody's the man. Woody's Tom Hanks, too.
Yeah, he is.
And
a Harlem Goldchatter, but...
there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think when I was a kid, I must have been like 8 or 9. I think we all dressed up as Power Rangers. And, of course, I was the Red Ranger because he's the coolest. And I'm not at all ashamed of that. In high school, a bunch of my friends and we dressed up like nuns. That was pretty interesting.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Not like the nuns from the town, right?
Yeah. You know what? Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner are cool, and they dress up like nuns in the town. So you know what? Thank you, Mark, for just making me realize that is actually something not to be ashamed of. So I'm actually proud of both of those. I'm proud of both of those.
All right. Well, great answers, guys. Here we go. Next one. We all probably used to, sneak around our house and watch scary movies we weren't supposed to watch when our parents didn't want us to. Do you remember any scary movie from when you were younger that made you just lose sleep, want to pee your pants, just from being so scared?
Chucky.
Honestly, the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah?
Scared the living crap out of me.
It's Tim Burton. That's some creepy stuff right there.
Yeah, Tim Burton is a pretty creepy guy.
Scary mind.
When I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Chucky makes perfect sense for a child
Chucky
to really be terrified of.
I mean, you have the obvious ones. I mean, The Exorcist, The Omen.
For me, it was A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Was it the scene where Johnny Depp just dies in his own bed?
It was just the overlying fact that when you fell asleep, you could die.
Well, I mean, see, the thing is, we talked about this last week. I've never been a big Freddy Krueger guy. I don't know why. I just never liked the Freddy Krueger movies or the Jason Voorhees ones either. I've always been more into Michael Myers and Halloween.
I think why is because Michael Myers and Jason, they were humans.
Yeah,
and that's
but Jason never died. Neither did Michael Myers.
But I feel like Freddy has like that look of just like it's kind of like playful in a way.
Yeah,
like, you can't take him seriously.
Anything like with Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, you got that like kind of stoic big dude that's gonna walk at you until you trip. And then with Freddy, it was almost unfair.
Have you seen It? Have you guys seen It?
Yeah, it is scary.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't look at clowns for like.
I don't like clowns.
Anytime like a McDonald's commercial with Ronald McDonald came on when I was a kid, I would literally like crap my pants. Yeah, because of It.
All right. Well, next question, guys. We're gonna move on here. I'm gonna give you a list after this one. So, if you had to choose one famous horror movie director to create a haunted house for you, which one would you choose and why? I'm gonna give you a list here. All right. So John Carpenter, who did Halloween and The Thing, those are probably his best two. Wes Craven did A Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. George A. Romero did all the Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, all the zombie movies. Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, if you guys are familiar with that. Tobe Hooper did Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist.
Ooh.
And Rob Zombie, House of a Thousand Corpses, Lords of Dogtown.
Rob Zombie also did the most recent Halloween, right?
Yeah, he did the remake.
Didn't like the remake, I'm going to be honest with you, and I like Halloween. I didn't like the new ones that came out. I'm going to go, and since I love Halloween, I'm going to go, who did you say, something Carpenter?
John Carpenter made the original Halloween.
I love
Chris
the original.
Carpenter.
Chris Carpenter. I'm going to go with him, because I like the original Halloween movies from the 70s and 80s. Rob Zombie can stop remaking classics. So.
Yeah, that's a solid choice.
I'm going to go with the guy that directed Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Edgar Wright is his name. I know that one in my noggin. But yeah.
That's a pretty solid movie, and
he's an excellent director too.
It will be an extremely like creepy scene. The stuff that he comes up with is insanely scary.
For me, it's I know I'm not supposed to answer, but it's Sam Raimi who did Evil Dead. He more recently, probably much better known for all the Spider-Man trilogy, the original one. That guy and his set design and his makeup just ridiculous, scares the crap out of me. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one. This is a little bit of rapid fire here, Halloween themed. All right. So, choose one, Trick or Treat or Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh, trick or treat, you get candy. That's an easy one.
Yeah, trick or treat.
I like the Thriller Ding Dong Ditch. All right. On Halloween, would you rather go to a haunted house or a house party?
House party. I mean, we just all got out of college.
Welcome
I think
to my house party.
exactly. Let's go to a house party.
I have more fun at haunted houses, guys.
Until you realize it's all fake. But
Snickers, Milky Way, or Reese's?
Oh, Reese's Pieces, man.
Milky Way, but Three Musketeers is my favorite.
No, you know why? You know why Reese's is the best?
You always have to choose another. I understand.
No, but here's why Reese's is the
Milky Way.
best. Here's why Reese's is the best. There's always the other one.
It's true. There are two. If we're talking minis, though,
Oh,
you
you're
get
talking
in your trick or treat.
But they melt
bucket.
in your mouth, though. Like,
I
just
know.
pop that in there. You don't.
They
want
also
to
melt on the way home, so...
Yeah, it's true. I go Milky Way. I love Milky Way. But all right, next one: egg someone's house or TP someone's house.
Ooh, that's a tough one. They're both
This
both forms of
depends on-
vandalism.
This is
depends on how
rapid question,
cynical
but
you
this is
are.
a hard one.
Oh man, what's more fun? Eggs are harder to clean up.
I'll
so
say
I'm gonna go egg.
TP.
TP?
Yeah.
TP is a little harder because... Well, eggs are a little harder because it's more sticky. But TP, you have unlimited toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
That roll is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You can just do whatever you want with it.
Takes a little more finesse to TP.
Yeah, it does take more finesse, but I just like chucking things. I'm gonna go with eggs.
Nice. All right, so if you were to keep track, which do you think you'll see more of this Halloween, a sexy cat or a Playboy bunny?
You know, both sound good to me.
Playboy bunny.
More Playboy bunnies this year, Mark.
I go Playboy bunny.
Honestly, how do you choose between a sexy cat and a Playboy bunny? I mean, they're both awesome.
Well, I was Dark Knight Rises with Catwoman. She scares the crap out of me.
Wait, that's a sexy cat.
She's
though.
sexy, but
There's gonna be
Anne
a
Hathaway.
ton of Catwoman.
I would worry she would rob me.
Yeah,
I
that's
would,
true.
I would have to go Playboy bunny.
You know what? If I saw
Hugh Hefner. I'll make you
yeah,
proud.
yeah. You would have to be. You could dress up as Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, I'm down.
Just get the
Got my
mustache. Just
pimp
get the
cane.
and get the robe and the pipe and everything in your half. There you go.
There you go. All right, so recent Halloween movie franchises. Do you prefer the Saw franchise or the Paranormal Activity franchise?
You know, that's actually really tough because I like both. And something I told you guys off the air last week was I've never really been a horror type guy. Never really enjoyed those. But if there's any exception, it's the old Halloween movies and it's Paranormal Activity. You know, it's what was the other one you just saw? And Saw would be the other one. So in terms of the recent ones, Saw and Paranormal Activity, it's so tough. But I like the psychological element in Saw. You know,
Thank you. I was just about to say that. I really feel like it makes you think more, and it gets intense.
I want to play a game.
I feel like Saw, it's more draining, but at the same time, it's more action. So I'll go Paranormal Activity, though. That scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, the suspense in Paranormal Activity, I don't think you can beat the original one. Last question, guys, all right? If the Red Sox win the World Series tonight or in Game 7, what's going to be your drink of choice to celebrate the victory?
I got champagne on ice at home. Hopefully I get to drink it tonight. But yeah, I'm just going to go with champagne, maybe mix in some beer there, but nothing too fancy.
I got Shipyard on deck.
Yeah, I got Pumpkinhead for myself right now. So
definitely.
Anything October related.
What about, can we go streaking after the Red Sox win?
Hey, you want to do that, man.
I'm sure we'll
To
see.
the quad, to the gymnasium.
There's going to be a fair share of shenanigans going on. In
Yawkey
downtown
Way
Boston.
is going to be packed, full of...
And again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because if the Red Sox win, there's going to be.
I'll knock on wood for you.
Some tomfoolery tonight.
But
those are the 5 questions, guys.
Solid questions,
those are
Dave.
good. Yeah, I like it when Dave.
I'll give you an
hosts 5
A
questions.
plus on that.
Thank you.
Going back
Actually,
to
A plus
I give you guys all of those A pluses for the answers as well. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks,
yeah,
Clay.
and you know it's so hard to choose between Saw and Paranormal Activity. They're both so well made.
They're incredibly well done, yes.
Until you got to the sequels, which is why I asked, because they were those franchises. Saw came out every Halloween.
Yeah.
Now Paranormal Activity is kind of taking that over.
Yeah.
But there were 7 Saw movies.
There were 7. The last couple
that's
were
insane.
okay.
So you're saying they got kind of old
They got really old.
for
to me.
every Halloween?
The second one was half decent.
Yeah.
And then the next 5 were just like, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
no, I like the the element of Jigsaw and how the guy just finds the tape recorder and then has to listen to what he does, and then you find out what the person did in the first place. So that's why I like Saw a lot. But anyways, that is 5 questions with Dave. A lot of fun. Thank you, Dave, for that. We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we will be continuing our Red Sox coverage here on 1460 WXBR. You're listening to the Sports Blast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
I'm apartment hunting and having this debate with a landlord.
Like I said, no pets. Just can't rent you the unit.
Yeah, he's a dog, but sir, he's not a pet.
He's four-legged, he's hairy, he's on a leash, that's a pet.
No, Henry is an assistance animal. Look, I'm legally blind. Couldn't you make a reasonable accommodation for my guide dog?
Young lady, you can call your canine friend anything you want. Those are the rules.
Rules? Rules that allow for housing discrimination? So I made a call to HUD to confirm that indeed landlords must make reasonable accommodations for assistance animals. And now we're so happy in our new apartment.
If you think you've been discriminated against because of your disability, race, color, religion, national origin, sex, or familial status, call the HUD hotline, 1-800-669-9777, or go to hud.gov/fair housing. File a complaint. Make something happen.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
K-Men Cleaning Services Incorporated has been knocking out dirt and germs for over 57 years. Located in the City of Champions, K-Men Cleaning Service does it all. They specialize in the cleaning and maintenance of laboratory and healthcare facilities while dealing with delicate space and equipment. K-Men has over 45 years of experience working with banks and other financial institutions. Their staff is highly trained and educated to work with all the latest equipment to be able to meet all of your needs. They also provide a 24-hour answering service. For a free inspection and proposal, call 508-587-2287 today. That's 508-587-2287. K-Men is located at 55 Highfield Drive in Brockton. No one cleans it like the K-Men. 508-587-2287. 508-587-2287.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. It's kind of like an elephant is on my chest. I feel like I'm choking. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Ward 7 City Councilor Chris McMillan, and I am proud to support Linda Balzotti in her re-election as mayor. I have worked with Linda for the past 8 years. I know that she is honest, and Linda cares deeply about our city's future. She has worked hard to keep the city moving forward during some of our most challenging times. Linda is committed to excellence in our schools, and she is the only candidate for mayor who is opposed to the proposed power plant. On Tuesday, November 5th, please join me in voting to re-elect Mayor Linda Balzotti.
I'm Linda Balzotti, and I approve this message. Paid for by the Balzotti Committee.
Hey, is that a faucet running? Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. It is? Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Sports Blast.
So let's do this thing. Let's finish it.
The Sports Blast is on Twitter. Be sure to follow at 1460 Sports Blast.
We're done when I say we're done.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast. Remember, you can call us at 508-588-9929. That's 508-588-WXBR. We're going to go into our other segment called Bold Statement. Once again, Dave has the honors. Dave, what is your bold statement this week?
Stephen Drew's going to get a base hit tonight, guys.
I like it. I like it. You know what?
That
He's
is
put on
a
some good
bold statement.
No, it's not, because he's actually put on some good swings recently.
He has, and the thing is, he's 1 for 15 in the World Series, and the one hit so far was the pop-up between Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina.
Which shouldn't count.
Which shouldn't count. I mean, they didn't give an error to those guys. I don't know why they gave a hit to Stephen Drew. So, here's my thing. He has gotten good wood on the baseball. In last night's outing, he drove in a run on a sac fly. He's getting the bat on the ball, whereas prior to the last couple of games, he has looked completely lost at the plate. He gets up there, he's swinging with his backhand on the bat, he's lunging
That had to be
all
the
over
ugliest swing I've ever seen in my life.
He has had some of the worst swings I've ever seen a professional baseball player lunge at a pitch for. You know, it's ridiculous, but I think that there's a silver lining because he has gotten good wood on the ball. He hit a ball at a warning track the other day, which I almost got kicked out of a bar for because I said to my friend who was sitting next to me, if he gets it, because he said, watch him hit one out right here. I said, if he hits a home run right now, I'll pay for everybody's drinks, and I'll leave this bar, and I'll never come back. And he almost hit one out, and I almost had to eat my words. So, today, I'm making the bold statement, Stephen Drew gets a base hit tonight, and a real one. Not something between the pitcher and the catcher, or a stupid pop fly that somebody should have caught, because that's what you have a glove for. You're supposed to catch the baseball, and they didn't. Stephen Drew's getting a real live base hit tonight.
Just one base hit.
He's not saying he's going 2 for 4. He's not saying he's going to collect 3. Just one
he probably
base
won't.
hit.
Doesn't matter
one hit.
the time in the game.
Nope.
The situation in the
he's
game.
getting a hit. It could be his first at bat.
If he gets, and I'll even go to say this, if Stephen Drew gets on base tonight, the Red Sox are going to win Game 6 and the World Series.
Wow.
I like the way you brought in the fact that his swings have looked a lot healthier. They have. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It was the loud out, and then he's also making better contact and things like that. And the reason he's in there over Will Middlebrooks Middlebrooks is a third baseman, but the reason Xander Bogaerts is not at short and Middlebrooks is at third is at least Drew is working the count. He's seeing pitches. Middlebrooks steps in, 2 pitches later he's out. At least Drew is able to get it to a full count or something before finally getting out, and that's important. And I actually remember when I was talking about Stephen Drew to a couple of my friends recently, this was about Game 1, Game 2 of the World Series. I said, at this point, Stephen Drew's lack of offensive productivity is far outweighing everything that he's doing on defense. That was in Game 1 and 2. Then Game 3 and Game 4, we saw a little bit of, slip-ups defensively. Xander Bogaerts didn't cleanly field the ball. Will Middlebrooks had one get under his glove. I believe that was a Carlos Beltran double down the line.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, you know what? Everything I said, I take it back. I like the fact that he's playing defense, and I like that he's playing it well, even though he's a liability on offense.
Yeah, and the thing is, you even saw it in Game 1, how important defense has been in this World Series, because the Cardinals imploded on the field in Game 1. And it's really come down to a lot of these games have come down to who's going to make fewer mistakes in the field. I think that's why now we're kind of looking at Stephen Drew, and we're going, all right, yeah, leave him in at short. He makes so few mistakes. He's so sure-handed in the field, and obviously it hasn't the lack of success at the plate hasn't crept into his mind out on the field. He has not made a fielding mistake, and he's made a lot of really tough plays in the field look very easy, and that's what a good shortstop and a good fielder does in this league.
And you know what? In this playoffs, the road to the World Series has been incredibly hard for the Red Sox. They have had to face extremely good pitching, accurate, spot-on command by all the pitchers they have faced. And we talked about how Mike Napoli was due. You bring up a great point, Dave. Stephen Drew is due. And, Mike Napoli came in with a big home run against the Detroit Tigers, I believe, in that series, after striking out a ton of times, breaking Mark Bellhorn's record. And then, Stephen Drew, he's getting good hacks, like you said, healthy hacks. He's getting a piece of the ball. He's just not putting it into play. And I really think, that slump, they said he got a base hit, but it's really, 0 for 16 instead of a 1 for 15 situation for Stephen Drew. So Stephen Drew is due.
And his entire postseason, guys, has been historically bad. It's one of the worst 5 of all time, or something like that.
I read that article. I know what article you're exactly talking about.
Yeah.
He is 4 for 50. That's an 80 batting average, 3 RBIs, 19 Ks, which is tied for the team lead. Sorry, with Jarrett Saltalamacchia. He only has 2 walks, so that's an on-base percentage of .113. And he should be, mind you, 3 for 50 because I don't count that pop-up as a base hit.
Not at all. And if you and it's not just Drew. I mean, has he solely himself been one of the worst offensive players that I've ever seen?
Not by any means. No.
In this series, there have been so many other guys that you could call out. Shane Victorino, who's in the lineup today, batting 6th. He hasn't been all that good. The Red Sox as a team, guys, offensively, if you subtract David Ortiz from the argument, they have a batting average under 100.
They were batting 134
as a team.
And
that's with Ortiz.
No, against Detroit, they were batting 134. I don't know the correct batting average now. It's like you said, it's probably down, very down. They've been playing good pitching. So,
and if you don't have David Ortiz in the lineup, this guy is Mr. Automatic right now. What did you say, Dave? He's 8 for 13 in this series with 6 RBI.
He's 11 for 15 against the Cardinals. That's a 733 batting average.
Steroids?
Two
hey,
home
don't
runs.
go there.
Hey, listen, people are talking about it. I saw it on ESPN this morning.
It's valid. I mean,
people want to say that he's on
every
steroids.
right to be. You have every right to be skeptical.
And
he's 38
failed
years
the
old.
test before, but I mean, for me right now, he's just dialed in. I mean, I haven't seen anything different from what we've seen from him all season, except for the fact that he's just dialed in right now.
He is so dialed in, and this is reminiscent of Barry Bonds back when he just was untouchable. As a pitcher, you would see Barry Bonds and you would say, you know what, I know I've got first base occupied, I'm going to walk him anyways. And in the top of the first inning, after Jacoby Ellsbury strikes out in Game 5, Dustin Pedroia comes in as the second batter for the Red Sox, doubles down the right field line. And with first base open, Adam Wainwright is facing David Ortiz. I'm thinking to myself, I know it's the first inning, but David Ortiz is so locked in right now. You know that he's going to drive in Dustin Pedroia. And that's what he ended up doing. Adam Wainwright had an opportunity with first base open to walk David Ortiz at the beginning of Game 5. He didn't. And, we all knew it was going to happen. David Ortiz doubles in Dustin Pedroia to give the Red Sox an early 1-0 lead.
And that just comes back to the managerial decisions. Mike Matheny was undecisive when it came to David Ortiz coming up to the plate. Should have put him on base, give him a free base, or, and granted, it would have been first and second with 1 out, so you have a double play situation there. And who's coming up? Johnny Gomes. So Johnny Gomes has been streaky, but down the stretch he has been in clutch situations.
The big 3-run home run in Game 4.
To me, the Cardinals haven't done anything to really prevent David Ortiz from feeling comfortable at the plate. And I mean, I know I would pitch around him, honestly. Especially in that situation, pitch around him. Don't let him hurt you as much as he can because he's so dialed in. But at the same time, they haven't made him uncomfortable. I haven't seen a Cardinals pitcher really toss one at him on the inside hard, knock him off the plate a little. The guy's digging in right now. He's dug in and he's locked in. Do something. Give him a little buzz.
That swing is stellar right now.
And I don't think there's anyone in this series that has looked more comfortable or more confident at the plate. And speaking of confidence, I want to switch to Clay Buchholz. Before his Game 4 start, he was not confident. He was not comfortable. I don't know if you guys saw the video of him during his side session throwing the ball. It didn't look good.
Oh, he looked awful.
And also his warm-up pitch before he ended that game, his pitch was wide of David Ross by a lot. And he came in, he gave you 4 gritty, gutsy innings where he was topping out, 89 miles an hour on his fastball?
Yep.
I think he hit 90 maybe once. But he was using location,
all about location,
mixing up his pitches, and he was phenomenal under the circumstances. He truly did have dead arm, and he gave you everything. And I don't want to say it was Schilling-like. I don't think I've ever seen anything like Game 6 of the 2004 ALCS in which Schilling went out there basically with his ankle taped together. But Buchholz was so good in Game 4.
Yeah, and I really think, Buchholz, with Buchholz having a low velocity, it really helps him because he concentrates on details. The command, where he puts the ball, he strategizes with each batter. I'll go low inside with an 89 mile per hour instead of humming a 95 mile an hour fastball that might touch the ground. Instead of just chucking the ball, he's actually pinpointing and he's accurate, and he's just been really good.
Yeah, it's the thing to me about Buchholz was I think a lot of people were complaining about his attitude prior to this start and saying things like, oh, I believe I have one more good start in me. Didn't have anyone in Red Sox Nation feeling comfortable about him starting any game after the last start he had. And to me, I wonder if during the regular season he hurt himself by taking so much time off because fatigue obviously was a factor.
Plays a factor, yeah.
And he had a dead arm, and I agree. The fact that he went out there and he pitched those 4 innings, you could see his arm was dead, and we could finally understand what he was talking about. I think the thing with Clay Buchholz, I wonder if you accept him for a guy who's going to give you less than half of a regular season and then maybe pitch really well in the playoffs. He wasn't lights out all this postseason, but he did step up when it mattered in that game. Again, it's just these guys step up when they really have to. That's been the story of this Red Sox team.
And
time is key.
Time is key. And talking about guys that stepped up when they had to, Felix Dubron is a guy that lost his spot in the starting rotation. He had a horrible September after having a very good year. I mean, you remember, he had 18 or something starts where he had quality starts game after game after game. He was looking like the best pitcher on this staff for a very long time through June, through July, August. All of a sudden, he stumbles in September. This is the second consecutive year where fatigue has been a factor with Felix Dubron, which this is a tangent, but the fact that he came to camp out of shape and, things like that. But then all of a sudden he comes in and he becomes a total X factor here in the postseason. He was not really a factor in the ALDS. I don't think he pitched in the American League Division Series. ALCS, he comes in, he gets his chance, he pitches well out of the bullpen. World Series, he comes back. I mean, this is a guy who is really, I think he has a 1.93 postseason ERA. And this is a guy who, if this does extend to a Game 7, I want to see him the first guy out of the pen, relieving Jake Peavy, who's going to be starting Game 7 if there is one.
I can recall a game that I went to in May. It was against the Cleveland Indians, and they actually won off a walk-off home run. One of the innings that Dubron pitched took at least an hour. And that's why I think he's been solid, because he's speeding up his routine. He's not thinking as much. He's just throwing the ball with accuracy and command, just like John Lester was. So I really think that improved his game. He really talked to pitching coach and really fixed his mechanics.
Yeah, Dubron to me has been one of the X factors for the Red Sox. And honestly, just the depth of the team. Again, the bullpen depth is impressive to me, especially when you have a guy like Craig Breslow not pitching well in the World Series and you still have other options that you can go to and rely on. That's huge. And Felix Dubron kind of filling that spot where Craig Breslow sort of was coming in routinely every 7th inning. It was Breslow, Tazawa, and Uehara. And when it kind of got dismantled by the Cardinals in this World Series, you got a guy in Felix Dubron who, again, stepped up. Another X factor on this Red Sox team, and the depth of the bullpen of the Red Sox and the depth of the bench. And just how gritty they are. That's why they're 3-2 right now, up 3-2 in the World Series. It's unbelievable the amount of guys you can point to and say they played a big factor in this series.
508-588-9927. And, with the thing with Felix Dubron that I noticed most, guys, in his appearances in the World Series, he looks so poised. This is a guy that's never pitched in the postseason, and he has looked so good out there, and he seems like he's unfazed, and it looks a lot like Xander Bogaerts, and I think that has helped. And as well as the long layoff. Again, he hasn't pitched in a while. Maybe that's helping too.
He has had a giant stature on the mound for sure. When his number 22 is called upon, he has stepped up immensely. He just throws strikes, and that's what you want from Dubron. You don't want him to waste pitches, because when he wastes pitches, that's when he walks people.
And he's just, he's been fantastic, and hopefully we don't have to see him in Game 7 because the Red Sox will hopefully close it out tonight in Game 6. But we'll be back, another quick break, but we'll be back talking more Red Sox right after this. Don't go anywhere. It's the Sports Blast, 1460 WXBR.
It feels like you're frozen, petrified. You're struggling with your mortgage payments. The bills begin to pile up. Not knowing what to do, you do nothing at all. And that's the worst thing you can do. Because if you take action, if you do something about your mortgage problems, you're far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov and do something about your mortgage problems. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
This is Mayor Linda Balzotti. I have a passion for Brockton, our families, and our future. Over the past 4 years, we've preserved core services during some of Brockton's most challenging times. We've remained committed to public safety. We've brought new businesses to Brockton. We focused on our neighborhoods, invested in our youth, and we continue to promote excellence in our schools. I'm Mayor Linda Balzotti. I believe Brockton has a bright future, and I proudly ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th. I'm Linda Balzotti, and I approve this message. Paid for by the Balzotti Committee.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If your walls could talk, what would they say?
I have held the same mirror for 13 years.
I have been decorated with purple dinosaurs, baseball teams, and football helmets.
I have witnessed 33 Thanksgiving dinners and 1 wedding proposal.
I have tiny notches marking the growth of 3 children.
I have caused a learning disability.
I am the reason that a 5th grader simply can't sit still.
I am responsible for a 5-year-old's rage.
Just because you can't see lead paint doesn't mean it's not on walls, doors, windows, and sills. Today, lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children. If your home was built before 1978, your family could be at risk. Let's make all kids lead-free kids. Log on to leadfreekids.org or call 800-424-LEAD.
I am the reason a child has trouble hearing.
If your walls could talk, what would they say?
Brought to you by the Coalition to End Childhood Lead Poisoning, EPA, HUD, and the Ad Council.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. If you stack their desks one atop the other, it's a pile more than 17,000 feet high. That's 12 Empire State Buildings. But what's truly scary is that another stack is going up tomorrow. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of him having 15 career NASCAR victories? 1 in 1.7 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Arma, Roach, Pollard, and Lozelle. It's the Sports Blast on 1460 WXBR.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast, 1460 WXBR. In between commercial, we were watching the game a little bit, and Dustin Pedroia just missed a home run by feet. What? It looked like, 3 feet, Dave?
It was close. It was similar to the one he hit earlier in the series that went just over the foul pole and to the left.
Yeah.
It was probably a little more wide than that one.
Yeah.
But still, very close. Very close. And now Ortiz is up. It's bottom of the first. 2 outs right now on the Red Sox.
Oh, man. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about as we keep our eyes glued to the TV when we're not talking, Mark. Shane Victorino's
I can't even see it.
Yeah, it's true. You can't. Shane Victorino's back in the lineup tonight, guys, hitting 6th. Not really sure I like this move. On the one hand, he has been rested. He hasn't played in a couple games. But I liked the combination of Gomes and Nava. Obviously, you have Nava in there to face a right-hander. That's a no-brainer. But Gomes, it just seems like when he's in the lineup, makes things happen. And Shane Victorino hasn't been all that good. So I would have stuck with the combination of Gomes and Nava.
Yeah, I mean, or I would put him back in the 2 slot and put Pedroia at 3. I mean, I know you're trying to limit him with at-bats because of his injury, but at the same time, it's Game 6. You want to go all out. And, Victorino has the ability to hit home runs, as we saw in Game 6 of the Detroit Tigers game, the winning game of the series. So I really think that Victorino hitting 6 isn't as scary of a lineup as if he was in the early stages of the lineup.
Right. No, that's a good point. But, Gomes, I don't have his figures in front of me, but he was not hitting right-handed pitching very well. Although, when they brought in, I think it was Seth Maness to face Johnny Gomes, and Seth Maness is a right-hander, correct?
Yeah.
Johnny Gomes ended up hitting a 3-run home run. Now, he was before that, I think, 1 for 7, I believe, before that game in which he was inserted for the late scratch for Victorino. Victorino was actually originally in the lineup for Game 4, and Johnny Gomes came in. But, yeah, it depends on what Victorino gives you.
A single or a double?
Before that?
With the one hit. I think it was a single.
But Shane Victorino does give you some speed in the outfield. He gives you some speed on the base paths if he can get on. But, yeah, I mean, like Dave said earlier, it's all hands on deck if it gets to Game 7. Right now, just kind of play it conservative, put your best defensive players out there, and just try to get a lead early for John Lackey.
Yeah, and I don't think Victorino is necessarily a slouch at the plate. He's a guy who's cold right now, for sure, and he's been cold for a little while in this postseason. But let's not forget, he's the guy that came up with a huge clutch grand slam against the Tigers in the series clincher. And it's another bat. I mean, honestly, has Johnny Gomes done much more than the 3-run home run in this World Series, which was, again, a huge hit. But you get production from people up and down this lineup, and again, just the depth of this Red Sox team. There was a statistic I thought was really interesting in that 5 Cardinals have at least 1 RBI in this series, but there are 10 Red Sox players that have at least 1 RBI in this series. You get big hits from pretty much everyone up and down this lineup when the occasion calls for it.
And one guy that they have back now that they didn't for 3 games, Mike Napoli, is back in the lineup. That's huge.
It is huge. And this team has had clutch opportunities, and they made the most of it. Mike Napoli with his home run, Ortiz with the grand slam, and then Victorino with the grand slam. And then, Johnny Gomes. It's just been a collective winning team for the playoffs, throughout the playoffs.
And another guy that we haven't, I feel we haven't been giving enough credit to has been Xander Bogaerts. This kid, 21 years old, has looked so good out there. The looks he's getting at the plate, the pitches he's taking, the patience, it's unprecedented. Guys that are that age don't come up and contribute in the way that Xander Bogaerts is, which leads me to believe, and again, I don't want to put the kid in the Hall of Fame yet, but I think he is going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I agree, and I think him working the count, he kind of works the umpire to his advantage too, because the umpire sees, he's taking his time, he's not being aggressive, he's not swinging at wild pitches. I'm going to go with this guy's gut feeling at the at-bat, and I'm going to, try to favor him, not in a way of, balls and strikes, but, the location of the pitch. I really feel like if Bogaerts really wants to hit one out of the park on the first pitch, he's going to do it. But if not, he's going to take pitches, and that's what he does best, is take pitches.
Yeah, the kid's disciplined for such a young guy. I mean, it's unbelievable, actually, to watch his approach at the plate. I think normally without the experience factor, you would a lot of times see young players chasing the pitches that Xander Bogaerts lets go. I mean, he's got an unbelievable eye at the batter's box, and I think that's why he has so many great at-bats, and we've seen him come through with a couple of pretty big hits here in this World Series and in the playoffs. He's a guy that I'm going to make a correlation to Torrey Krug, which was pretty similar, but not the exact same, because Torrey Krug, if you remember the playoff run last year for the Boston Bruins, came into the playoffs. His first NHL start was in a playoff game against the New York Rangers. And that experience and the experience that Xander Bogaerts is getting right now is going to pay huge dividends. When he comes back next season, the guy's going to feel like a seasoned veteran to us. I can almost guarantee he's going to fill in that shortstop position, and at the plate, we're going to see a huge increase in maturity because he's going through this World Series at such a young age.
He literally is the X factor. He pun intended.
Yeah.
He is the X factor. He brings it to the table every time defensively and at his at-bats, and he crushes the ball, and that's what you like to see. You like to see contact out of a young kid like that.
In the ALDS, I remember a lot of fans were screaming that John Farrell was not utilizing the left side of his infield properly. He had Stephen Drew and Will Millbrooks in there. Both were not doing much with the bat. Obviously, we know what Drew has been contributing with his glove. When Xander Bogaerts finally found his way into the lineup in that American League Division Series, I believe it was Game 3 or 4, one of the late games. That was a very quick series. he immediately made an impact, and then he eventually booted Will Middlebrooks out of the starting lineup completely. This kid is legit, and I hate to rag on Will Middlebrooks. If Brian was here, he'd probably be he'd want to slap me across the face because he loves Will Middlebrooks. But Middlebrooks just does not have the plate discipline that Xander Bogaerts does. He chases bad pitches. He's out on 1 or 2 pitches. Xander Bogaerts will run every count full if he can, and he does. And he's been coming up with clutch hits left and right. I mean, he had a game-tying RBI single, chop single in Game 3 that went back up the middle, if you guys remember that. And even his outs are, you have to work to get Xander Bogaerts out, whether it's a strikeout or a line-out or a ground-out. This kid is proving why he's in the lineup, why he deserves to be in the lineup.
And Middlebrooks kind of reminds me of Mike Napoli. You know, he either hits a home run or he swings and misses. And Xander Bogaerts, he's just the better option. He knows how to work the count, play better defensively. Like I said, he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen so much versatility. Obviously, at the major league level, we have not yet seen him play the outfield, but in the minor leagues, that was something that he was capable of doing, was playing, I believe it was left field. But we have seen him play both short and third. He's a natural shortstop, but he's played third base very well. And looking ahead, this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, but looking ahead to next year, I would like to see Xander Bogaerts have the shortstop job in spring training, and I want it to be his job to lose. As of right now, the way he's played in the World Series, I think this kid's major league ready. I don't think there should be any reason to start him in AAA next year.
I completely agree with you, and here's the thing. And if you're a papers person, if you like looking at stats on paper, here's why Bogaerts over Middlebrooks. Bogaerts is 8 for 23. That's a .348 batting average in the postseason. He's only got 2 RBIs. Struck out 8 times, but he's got 6 walks, so his OBP is .467. Now here's Middlebrooks. He's 4 for 25, so Bogaerts has two less plate appearances and 4 more hits. He's batting .160 with 1 RBI, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks for an OBP of .250. So
incredible.
Not only on paper, the thing is when Xander Bogaerts steps up to the plate or takes the field, he's a guy that I feel more comfortable, especially at the plate right now, with his discipline and just the eye that he has for the batter's box. It's unbelievable to see such a young kid do this at his age on the big stage. And I mean, if on paper or whatever you want to call it, the X factor, part of an individual player, Bogaerts has it. And I'm not saying you go Bogaerts over Middlebrooks. I'm saying Stephen Drew. Sorry, buddy, even if you get your base hit tonight, you're out of here next season. You're not going to be the starting shortstop for the Red Sox. Let this guy flourish because he's going to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah, Ashish, going back to your point, I really think it's Xander Bogaerts' job to lose in spring training. You know, you remember when Coco Crisp left the Red Sox, Jacoby Ellsbury moved into center field, and that was his job to keep. I think they should do the same thing with Bogaerts.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to believe, guys, based on what we've seen from Xander Bogaerts in this postseason, that he's not going to be able to continue this. Is this kid eventually going to hit a slump? Yeah, of course. No one's this good for this long. But considering his age, considering the limited time that he's had in the big leagues, and considering the impact that he's had at the major league level so far in these big games, that bodes well for this kid's future.
And there's a reason why they traded Jose Iglesias.
Because they were confident that they could get by with Xander Bogaerts and Stephen Drew and have Xander Bogaerts as the answer at shortstop in coming years.
Well, and Bogaerts was he's a complete player because he can bat and he can play the defensive aspect as well as Jose Iglesias.
Right, and he might not be as big of an upside on the field as Stephen Drew is or Jose Iglesias right now, but that's going to come with time in the field and reps at shortstop. He's going to be and he's got he's kind of tall and lanky. He's one of those guys that will have a good stretch at shortstop. You should be able to make pretty rangy plays once he's really comfortable out in the field. And again, once he's the shortstop, he's the guy to go to. He's going to be, in my opinion, phenomenal.
And he's bilingual. He has 7 languages.
Smart kid. He's got 7. Yeah, because he's from Aruba, right? It was a Dutch colony. So.
Yep.
All right, up against another break, but when we come back, we are going to go to That's BS. It's going to be a lot of fun right here on the Sports Blast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. The only thing I didn't learn in school today is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Oh, come on.
Computer problem? Call Nanny Tech and it will be problem solved. Nanny Tech provides 24 hours on-site service specialists. Business or residential, call 774-316-NANY and we'll get you up and running. That's 774-316-6269. If the problem can't be solved on site, we offer free pickup and delivery. Save this number because you don't know when you're going to need it. Call 774-316-6269. We also provide network solution, web design, computer classes, and a lot more. 774-316-6269. That's 774-316-NANY. Come down and visit us at 1 Center Street, located in Brockton, Mass. Nanny Tech. Upgrade yourself.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Where do you want to go to lunch? I'm having a stroke. Did you hear what I said? I'm having a stroke. Why aren't you answering me? I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's time for your spooky Sports Blast headlines. The Boston Red Sox are one win away from claiming their 8th World Series title in franchise history, and their 3rd in the last decade. They lead the Cardinals in the series 3-2. Game 6 is happening right now at Fenway Park. John Lackey got the start for the Sox, as 22-year-old Michael Wacha is on the mound for the Cardinals. That game is currently in the top of the 2nd. The Cards are threatening with men on 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Here are the lineups for tonight. For the Boston Red Sox, Jacoby Ellsbury leads off in center. Dustin Pedroia at second. Big Papi in the 3 spot hits DH. Mike Napoli in the cleanup spot plays first. Johnny Gomes is in left. Shane Victorino is back in the lineup tonight, hitting 6th and playing right. Xander Bogaerts will play third. Stephen Drew plays short. David Ross will catch and bats 9th. For the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter leads off and plays second. Carlos Beltran is in right. Matt Holliday is in left. Alan Craig will back cleanup as the DH. Yadier Molina is the catcher. Matt Adams plays first. David Freese is at third. John Jay is in center. Daniel Descalso bats 9th and plays shortstop. The New England Patriots are 6-2 after coming back to beat the Miami Dolphins 27-17 last Sunday. They're now 3-1 against division opponents. They take on the struggling Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday at Gillette Stadium. Kickoff is set for 4:25. First-year head coach Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics begin their regular season tonight after finishing the preseason with a 2-6 record. They play on the road tonight against the Toronto Raptors. And tip-off was at 7 o'clock. The 7-3 Boston Bruins take on the 8-4 Pittsburgh Penguins tonight at the Consol Energy Center. The last time these two teams met, Jerome McGinley was a Penguin, and the Bruins finished off a sweep of Pittsburgh in the Eastern Conference Finals. Face-off for this Wednesday night rivalry match was at 8 o'clock. Those are your Sports Blast headlines. The Halloween edition, be sure to check out our website at www.sportsblast.co and tweet us at 1460 Sports Blast. Again, that's at 1460 Sports Blast. Happy Halloween to everyone from all of us here at the Sports Blast. I'm David Pollard. Do not go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
The Sports Blast, wrapping up your week in Boston sports. Every Wednesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. on 1460 WXBR.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast. Remember, you can call us 508-588-9927. That's 508-588-WXBR. It is time now for That's BS. A lot of fun. I love this segment. And the first one, guys, is on Brandon Merriweather, the former safety that played for the New England Patriots for 4 years now. He's with the Washington Redskins. He had some interesting comments after being suspended on his hit on, I believe, Brandon Marshall?
Yeah, Brandon Marshall.
And let me see if
And then Alshon Jeffrey afterwards,
yes,
too. So.
Yes. And he was called out. I think we have some audio on that, don't we, Dave?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Like me to play for
yeah,
it?
why don't we just go ahead and play the audio?
You know, I know everybody looking at the tape and saying, "Oh, he's a dirty player. He this, he that," and which I get. You know what I mean? But you know, if anybody go look at the tape, you know, I didn't use my head in either hit. And you know, I'm moving on from it.
Wait, was that shut up in the background? Who did? Who put that in there?
I don't know. Dave, did you put that in there?
I don't believe it was me, but it was brilliant.
Well, whoever put that... it was you, Mark?
Yes.
So you think it's BS?
Take the credit.
I think it's BS to the max.
All right, explain.
I think it's BS as BS gets. Because he launches his helmet and goes head first for the offensive player who is in a vulnerable position, and he injures him. And I really think that, and it's been on numerous occasions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talk about James Starks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, James Starks, my buddy James Starks from college. Okay, I'm not really his buddy, but we did go together to school in Buffalo, so go Bulls, baby. Sorry.
He has gotten fined, and he has gotten suspended in the past, and it's becoming too much of a trend with this. Was he a safety cornerback?
Yeah, he was a safety with us. I'm sure he's still a safety.
Yeah, I think he is a safety, but he launches his head at Marshall, at Alshon Jeffrey. He just doesn't learn from his mistakes, and I just completely think those comments were just absurd, and they're not needed. They're tedious, stupid, everything.
BS?
BS.
All right, and I actually have a quote here. He was talking to the media about Brandon Marshall, who had some strong feelings about him and how he should be no longer a part of the league. This is what Merriweather had to say, and I'm quoting now. He feels like I need to be kicked out of the league. I feel like people who beat their girlfriends should be kicked out of the league too. You tell me, who would you rather have? Someone who plays aggressive on the field or someone who beat up their girlfriend?
That comparison is flawless.
Yeah.
It is dumb. That's
pretty
what it
much
is.
the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I don't like that he went there with Brandon Marshall. Look, we know Brandon Marshall has issues, and he had borderline personality disorder. He's getting it treated now, and he's a much better human being and a much better person for it. I never liked Brandon Marshall back in the day when he was doing things like that. Then when I found out about his condition and the fact that it was getting treated, all of a sudden I actually kind of like the guy now. Yeah. He's a good guy. You know, he just had issues. So I think that's a little unfair on Brandon Merriweather's part to go there. That's BS.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't call out a wide receiver, especially with, Brandon Marshall being as big as he is as a receiver. and questioning his credibility as a person.
So now he's just going to start going at guys' knees, which is pretty bad because I know a lot of players, if you ask them, they say my legs are my livelihood, hit me high if you're going to hit me at all. So it'll be interesting to see, but that's what Brandon Merriweather said. So we are all unanimous on this one that is BS.
BS.
Totally BS.
All right, Dave, I think the next one is all hockey, so that should be introduced by you.
Sure. If anyone can recall who's listening right now, John Scott had a hit on Louis Eriksson last Wednesday in the Bruins game against Buffalo. It came with about 15 minutes left in the third period. The Bruins were up 4-2. And basically, it was the exact type of hit that the NHL and the Department of Player Safety are trying to eliminate from the game. If you didn't see it, Louis Eriksson was coming through the neutral zone, crossed the red line, dumped the puck. There's that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi rule where enough time had passed where John Scott should have laid off the hit. He came cutting across the neutral zone, hit Louis Eriksson with the principal point of contact being the head, and extended his forearm up and through the head so that Louis Eriksson was injured to the point where he got a concussion and couldn't get off the ice on his own accord. So here's what John Scott said after the hit to Louis Eriksson. He said, "I don't think I'm a dirty player. I try to play within the code and within the rules. This is my first suspension, and I don't think I'm a dirty player. I don't try to be a dirty player. I feel really upset. I was sick to my stomach last night knowing what happened and watching the video. I just kind of regret the situation. I don't want to be a dirty player." How many times did the guy have to say dirty player for it to be in my mind? You know?
I feel like he put full-fledged emphasis on dirty player.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. He keeps saying it. It's in his mind. He is a dirty player. He knows he's a dirty player.
He's a goon, and that's why, listen, I'm not against having role players on NHL hockey teams. There's room in the NHL for role players and people who bring physicality and energy to the sport. Sean Thornton, perfect example. Sean Thornton is a guy who has the same amount of NHL seasons as John Scott, has double the amount of penalty minutes that John Scott has, and yet he's one of the most respected players in the entire league. He drops the gloves when the occasion calls for it. He's a guy who's tough and will stick up for his team, never throws a dirty hit, and he's got 30 goals and 39 assists throughout his 8 or 9 year career in the NHL, which is something that you expect a fourth liner to contribute. Here's my problem with John Scott. Guy's been in the NHL for 7 seasons. He's been on 5 different teams. He's never played more than 51 games. And his career high point total, 2. 1 goal, 1 assist. That was his career high about 6 years ago when he played for the Minnesota Wild. He's got 5 career NHL points in 7 seasons. 5. 1 goal, 4 assists. And he's got 390-something penalty minutes. The guy has no other purpose but to go out on the ice and hit somebody. And I understand these players need jobs as well. But guess what? Not in the National Hockey League. Not if you can't contribute on a professional level and actually do something besides go out and try and injure people. And
like Matt Cook.
Like Matt Cook did. And that's what
like him.
That's what this hit was reminiscent of for me, because nobody would know of Matt Cook if he didn't end Mark Savard's career. All right, nobody would know about John Scott right now if he didn't hit a guy like Louis Eriksson, who has a very promising and actually productive career in front of him.
And we're actually lucky that Louis Eriksson is okay. You know,
Yeah.
he's going to be coming back soon.
He sustained a concussion, but on first glance, it was when you see a hit like this, a lot of times you see the stretcher come out onto the ice, and he can't get up at all. The good sign for Louis Eriksson, he got to at least his knees and was able to skate off the ice with the assistance of his teammates. So that's a good sign that he could actually move off the ice on somewhat of his own accord. And then he got to travel back to Boston on an airplane the next day. So if it were a severe concussion, we wouldn't have seen that. But the thing that just gets to me the most is that this guy, it just doesn't deserve to be in the same league as a guy like Louis Eriksson, and yet he can go out onto the ice, act like a tough guy. And this John Scott is the same guy who in the preseason tried to fight Phil Kessel of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nothing says tough guy like going after a guy like Phil Kessel, who couldn't fend for himself if he wanted to.
And there's always a proper way to hit somebody. And Sean Thornton hits somebody in the correct way. And John Scott just went out of his way and gave a forearm shiver to Louis Eriksson. It was not correct. It was uncalled for, and he should receive what he received.
And I don't think he's sorry, so that's why I think it's BS. But just to carry on to the next part of this That's BS segment, while we're up against it, we got Don Cherry on Scott as well. Don Cherry, who does Hockey Night in Canada every Saturday, he said, now here's a story. He sits for 55 minutes. He's put on the ice. He's got to do something. He's got to do something or he's going to be gone. It's so unfair. Talking about John Scott, saying it's unfair because the 5 minutes a game that he actually goes out there, he feels pressure to do something and make an impact for his team. Guess what, John Scott? That's not how you do it, and especially now because you've been suspended indefinitely until your hearing today. We're going to see how long this guy gets suspended, and he won't be making an impact on any NHL team anytime soon.
So that's BS?
That's BS by John Scott and by Don Cherry, who should know better.
Yep. All right, our last one before we go to break. Very quickly, Tim McCarver, as we all know, has a way with words, or...
cantaloupe with seams.
And he's been criticized his fair share. He's been doing this a long time. The broadcasting group, him and Joe Buck have been together, I think, for 18 years. And this is his last year. These are his last 2 games if this goes to Game 7. Tim McCarver, the other day, I think may have given the laziest keys to the game I've ever seen in my entire life of watching baseball. He said something along the lines of, the team that goes to Boston up 3-2 has an advantage. Once again, that is the key to the game. The team that goes to Boston up 3-2 has the advantage.
Clear cut, simple. and Joe, like, are you kidding me? That's like the key of the
He was kind of like, if I can't needle you now.
Honestly, guys, he deserves a little credit for bringing the sport back down to a kindergarten level for everybody.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Tim McCarver is he states the obvious in the most eloquent way possible. He's so articulate, and he takes an hour to get the thought out of his head, and it is very articulate the way he says it, but it's such a basic thought.
And he has the dumbest stories I've ever heard. I mean, the stories that he says is just ridiculous, and they're random. They just come at random points.
In my view.
Yeah, I saw this guy in Venezuela. Like, right, well...
I think the thing that got to me most, though, before we go to this break, is the Pedroia and Nadal comparison. Why are we talking about Rafael Nadal? I'm watching the World Series. I'm sorry. If I want to watch Rafael Nadal, I'll watch Wimbledon. Okay, I don't want to.
Or the French Open.
Or the French Open, where he owns on clay, by the way. But I'm just saying, why are we talking about Rafael Nadal, Tim McCarver?
Why are we talking about Rafael Nadal right now?
Good, yeah, that's
I blame Tim McCarver for making us talk about
it.
Oh, my God. So that is BS.
Totally BS.
BS.
Come on, McCarver. We'll see you in retirement. Up against a break. We'll be right back with the Blast Off right here on 1460 WXBR. It's the Sports Blast. Don't go anywhere.
When our men and women join the military, they're told if they're injured, our government will take care of them. But what if you served and sacrificed for your country and couldn't get the specialized care, military benefits, and career opportunities you needed? Chris Sullivan was on patrol in Iraq when a sniper's bullet severed his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed. He's one of the 85% of veterans with severe disabilities who are unemployed. Keisha Wright, paralyzed veterans counselor.
We got people who have amazing abilities, and they're just not having the opportunity to go back to work and live their full potential.
Paralyzed Veterans of America is on a mission. Mission ABLE, to help our seriously wounded veterans receive what they need most: care, benefits, and jobs. Army Sergeant Chris Sullivan.
If it wasn't for PVA, I would not be where I'm at today. I would have never had this job opportunity.
Join the mission at mission-able.com.
Dear Brockton voters, this is Councilor Lodge Robert Sullivan, and I want to remind you that Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. It is an honor and privilege to serve as your Councilor at Large. I'm running for re-election because I want to continue to better Brockton for my family and yours. I respectfully ask all Democrats, Republicans, and unenrolled independents for your vote to re-elect Robert Sullivan, Councilor at Large. My name is number 2 on the ballot, and the polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Tuesday, November 5th, please vote for experience and proven leadership. Robert Sullivan for Councilor at Large. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Robert Sullivan.
Welcome to the Maya and Miguel Challenge. Meet Maya and the gang.
Oh, hi, I'm Maya.
Maya and her friends want you to get up and play, because it's always more fun to be active.
Let's get started.
Just go to letsmove.gov and look for Maya and Miguel. You'll find tons of fun activities that'll help keep you healthy and active. Whether you play sports, run, dance, or jump in place, just get up and play at least an hour a day. Take the Maya and Miguel Challenge today at letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS. This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take this time to breathe deeply and close your eyes. Right now, you're completely in control. Unlike the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you tried removing those raccoons from the basement. Concentrate on the soothing sound of my voice.
Release the memory of when you wrestled with that beehive in your son's treehouse. Let go of the time you thought that skunk was a cat, or when you pulled into the garage with your son's bike on top of the car. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
My name is Meera. Many families have come to America for a better life. I advocate for these families with United Way to make the community stronger. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
T-minus 15.
We will go out with bang.
Time now for blast off.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Good things must come to an end.
Approaching stage 2 burnout at 115 seconds, followed by a 20-second close phase. Stage 2 separation is
Lay it on the line to the final whistle blows.
Stage 2 burnout. Stage 2 separation, stage 3 ignition. Stage 6 motor pressure is nominal. Vehicle attitude and flight path are nominal. Separation is confirmed.
We will not go quietly into the night. This ends now!
The Sports Blast, wrapping up your week in Boston sports every Wednesday night, 7 to 9 p.m.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast on 1460 WXBR. It is the Blast-Off segment. Guys, he did it last week. He will do it again. We have our producer on the line directly from Fenway Park, Brian Roach. How's it going over there?
Pretty good. Pretty wild right now, you know.
Why? What just happened? I don't think we saw that. What did something happen?
Well, no, David Ross struck out, but they had runners on first and second, nobody out. I mean, they should have done something.
Brian, can you take us back to what happened with John Lackey? Again, we were on the air when it was happening. We know that he put a couple guys on. Johnny Gomes had an out in left field, and then Lackey was able to get out of it by striking out, I believe, David Freese. Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. He was able to strike out the last guy on the curveball in the dirt. So
okay, so I guess I saw everything from where I'm sitting.
That second single wasn't like it was hard hit, but Drew could have probably tried to get to it better than he did. But
so, Brian, if you can see how many beards are, could you give us the exact count?
What was that?
If you could count how many beards you are seeing right now, can you give us a number?
Million.
We'll set the over/under at a million.
Probably a couple 100,000. You know?
How's the atmosphere? Is it nice over there?
I mean, it's not too cold, so it's not like a really cold game. But right now, everyone's loving it. You know, everyone's loud. Everyone's rearing to get this done with.
You can feel it, huh?
It's the first time since 1918, Brian, that the Red Sox have an opportunity to close out the World Series at home. It's obviously been a long time coming. I'm sure the energy in the ballpark, it's contagious. I'm sure, young people, old people, everyone knows how important this game is. And, I really hope this doesn't extend to a 7th game. And, it looks like something just happened. I think John Lackey just gave up a grounder up the middle. Is that right?
Yeah, he gave up a hit up the middle, yeah. Line drive, but double play ball right here, so.
I love the enthusiasm. I love the confidence, too, the positive energy.
I just saw the double play, so.
So you're actually giving us more up to date than the TV's giving us.
Yeah,
right now.
the feed is like 20 seconds delayed, so
all right.
I have the live feed right here.
So we don't have to worry about the base hit we just saw anymore.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Beltran is up right now.
So who turned the double play?
Yeah.
Who turned the double play? Was it 4-6-3?
No, it was 6-4-3.
No, it was Brian. It was a 6U3. It was unassisted at second by by Drew.
JD Drew. Stephen Drew stepping up again.
See, I'm not the only one that does the JD thing. All right, Brian. Hey, thanks, buddy, for calling in and joining us.
problem.
And we look forward to having you back, man. Come on, we're missing you over here.
Yeah, please be back.
Don't
Miss you,
worry.
Brian.
All right, Brian Roach, everyone from Fenway Park. He will be back with us on the Sports Blast next week. And man, that was a clutch 6-4-3, right? Or actually, I'm sorry, it was 6U3.
6U3, yeah. Stephen Drew taking himself, throwing it to first.
Not only was it Carlos Beltran at the plate, but I mean that could have been a big inning right there.
Could have, yeah. I mean, no outs, man on first. Carlos Beltran at the plate, scary opponent. John Lackey made him pay.
Get the ground ball when you need it. I mean, this is, again, we're starting to see the looks of a very low-scoring nail-biter in this one between Michael Wacha and John Lackey. A couple men on base in the first few innings for both teams. Nothing doing yet. It's going to be a pitching duel. It's going to be a grind, this one, because I know a lot of people are celebrating right now in the streets already for this Game 6 victory, but guess what? It's not over yet.
Yeah, we have
the
a
Cardinals
message.
are not going to give up.
We have a message for everyone in and around Boston, the New England area. Do not celebrate yet. Do not prematurely pop any champagne bottles. This one is very much still alive. Again, the Cardinals take Game 6. It's a Game 7. Anyone can win it. So while there is certainly excitement in the air, there's no need to be doing any of those shenanigans, as Dave would say. Not yet.
You want to make it a good memory. You don't want to make it a bad memory.
No, exactly. And hey, everybody be safe out there if they do win tonight, and then you have our permission to go out and get blasted.
Absolutely, I know I will.
Literally,
I'll be out
sports
there.
blasted.
Yes.
Sports. Hey,
Sports
we should make a beer called the Sports Blast.
That would be pretty good.
You get blasted.
You get blasted.
Oh man,
I hope everybody got blasted in listening to our show.
What does that mean?
I hope everybody
enjoy.
If everyone who's listening to our show is pounding beers, I feel we have done our job.
We've done our job.
We have.
That's what people do. Hey guys, it's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Let's say, hey, you brought the 18-pack? All right, let's go. Oh man, but yeah, it's certainly a privilege to be on the air when the Red Sox are playing what could be a deciding game in the World Series, and it's.
And a quick stat: when the Bruins win, the Red Sox win. It's 4 times that has happened.
There
so
you go. See if the Bruins can bring a little luck. I don't even know. I haven't checked.
It's
We got
8
this
o'clock,
tuned to
so
the
it
Red
might have
Sox.
just started.
Yeah, and the internet's down, so I have no idea. But yeah, let's go. I'm excited. And, what do you guys think? I know we're all a little biased here, but do they close it out tonight, or are we seeing a Game 7?
They're gonna close it out tonight.
I think
2-1.
I think they better close it out tonight. And you know what? I like that final score, 2-1. It's gonna be a low-scoring affair tonight.
Well, let's hope that we all have reason to be popping champagne bottles at the end of the night. Just in case, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but just in case, I will swing by the Packy and pick up a little something, just in case they do end up winning it tonight.
And if they do win, we're shipping up to Boston, going to the parade, and we're going to film and ask you guys questions, so stay on the streets.
Exactly. If you're going to be out and about on Friday or Saturday, if they end up winning, we will be out there asking a lot of questions, so we hope to run into you guys and get some good answers to all our wacky questions that we're going to be asking you. Thank you so much for tuning into the Sports Blast tonight. Go and watch the Red Sox game. I know you want to. I definitely do, guys.
Game 6.
It is
Go Sox.
on.
Let's
For
go.
everyone here, Mark Lozelle and David Pollard, I'm Ashish Sharma. Go Sox. See you next week, baby.